You guys. So I'm realizing more in the consciousness. Consciousness is will. Will's consciousness. We have base levels to consciousness, right? Base levels. So I'm thinking of Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan, right? I'm really excited. That's why I'm like, I've been sitting in my room meditating and watching videos, watching some Dragon Ball Z. It's awesome. So consciousness, right? Actually, hold on. Let me tell you after this. Fuck it. I'll do it with my right, because I know I can do that. But it would be better if I did it with my left, though. Okay. Get this message across. Fuck. No. Okay, I'll do it with my right. Just because I don't have doubt about it now. Okay. Which kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do, but here you go. Oh man, that wasn't as good as the first time. Okay, guys. So I haven't been able to do one-arm pull up in like a while. I haven't been practicing them, probably like a year actually, a year and a half. And I haven't really been working out like that either. I've been doing push-ups here and there, barely doing pull-ups the last like month, right? I just did that, and you want to know why? Because I realized that everything is will. You can't have any doubts inside of your mind. You cannot. And even me knowing this doesn't mean that I'm exempt, because, I'm still gotta be, that's why being present is so important, because you can let shit flow. You can just let it go. But what I did there, I fucking Lemurian race, and the guy's talking about how the guy was able to increase his power with his will, like on any certain like body part, right? And just in the spirit of inspiration, no thinking about it, that's exactly what I did there. I literally willed myself up. I willed it. I didn't think about it. I didn't think how it was gonna happen or anything like that. I just willed it. Like I intended that was gonna be the case while I'm doing it. Like yes, and I did it. So like Dragon Ball Z, when they go Super Saiyan, right? You are allowed enough, let's call it will energy, into you, and now you're at this form where you don't have to consciously push out so much will to stay in Super Saiyan 2. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why like Gohan and Goku, when they're at their base form, right? Like the body adapts. So okay, let's say I'm doing something that I don't usually do in terms of physical strength, right? I have to summon up enough will energy to create that power. But the thing is, my body, my mind, my brain and stuff like that might not be trained at that moment in time to be able to allow that much will. So what happens is you got to develop it over time. And your body, because everything is one, your body will also become, like, let's say a machine. It's not the vessel that is able to, so like let's say your will was right here. Now the body can hold this much will on its base form, Goku. So now if I wanted to go Super Saiyan 1, I'm inviting even more will energy into me, and I have more power. That's the powering up part. So it's like it is like the body, but it's the consciousness. Like if you can open up your mind consciously more, you can become more powerful. You can become more powerful. I'm telling you guys, these superpowers and all this shit is real. We just need to will it into existence. And I know it sounds crazy, but it won't be crazy once it starts happening. I guarantee you, 100%, quote me on this. You're going to come back to this and be like, holy fuck, he was right. I don't know in how much time, but definitely the next, I want to say 50 years. There's going to be people that are going to start displaying superhuman-like abilities, like X-Men type of shit. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like the mutants and stuff, just written differently. Because what happens over time. So let me calm down. Let's say the human race is at a base form right here, and the thoughts that are coming into the human race right now is, okay, bench pressing 400 pounds is really hard. But let's say for some people's consciousness, bench pressing 300 is easy, and they can physically do it, all that stuff. So there's their base form. The world has its base form, right? Now what's been happening is that people have been making comic books in the last 100 years, anime, all this stuff, displaying superpowers. None of it is fake. I don't know about how accurate the stories are, I don't say none of it, but like mostly none of it's fake. Like powering up, all that shit is real. You have to will it into existence. So what I'm saying is that in time, as the consciousness elevates more, people, the base form of reality, people are going to start tapping into these abilities without even purposely doing it. You see, it's just going to occur because the consciousness thought wave, think of everything as translucent, and the air is now that we can do that. So it's kind of, I know I can explain this better. I'm not going to say it's not unexplainable, because I know you kind of get what I'm saying, but it's like okay, level of strength here, right? This is where we are right now. Once our conscious, and okay, there we go. Actually, better idea. I think it was the 1950s or something like that. It was like somebody, I think it was a long jump. This long jump was never beaten ever before, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody beat the long jump. And then after that, people started beating that record. Then it just became a normal thing to beat that record in long jumping, because what happened is people's consciousness is elevated to realize that that is possible, that is a possibility, and you can do it. So there was no blockages anymore. There was no thought blockages anymore, because now that will is existent within the physical realm that you can see. There's no blockages anymore. So people are able to do that without blocking themselves up as much. There was probably a little, obviously there was little blockage from people like, okay, I know it's possible, but can I do it? But at least they have in their head, there's this opening that's like, well, it is possible. It is possible, I know that. So then they have to get past the other barrier of frequency energy that's coming at them. If it's not, because that's all this shit, mental thought and all that stuff is all cluttered, you guys. It's all cluttered. It goes for me too. That's why being present is very important, because that you need to learn to look past the clutter. So when you can be present, you have clarity, and then you can will things you want into your life without any distractions. So since the consciousness was uplifted about that long jump, people can do it. You get where I'm going here? It's the same thing with these superpowers. It's the same exact thing. It's not that none of this stuff was never possible and that nobody's done it. I guarantee you there was humans that were fighting like Naruto and shit like that 10,000 years ago. Maybe 20,000 years ago. I guarantee you. But not anymore, because somewhere down the line, which I have no clue, I'm guessing other beings or something like that confused us. They confused us to who we were. So now we're doing this whole kind of catching back up thing to realize that we can will things into this plane. But the thing is, what's been happening is nobody's really, there are players in the game that are willing things, but there's not, on the mass scale, people are kind of just being led. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that they are the power and they have control. And that's why the confusion is, which is crazy, because it's a mass hypnotist, a mass confusion. Because the brain, right, is like a tool that can be programmed through habitual pattern. And whoever knew this about us capitalized on that and has confused us. That's why it's hard for people to get out of these things, even if they know this knowledge. You know what I mean? Because their brain has such a programmed code now already that it makes it super hard. So even when they hear me talking about all this shit, they're like, there's so much shit and so much doubt and all this stuff like that. They might believe it, but they're just like, you know, that's why it takes time. And I'm not exempt, guys. I'm still like, it's basically like your brain, like it's a habitual pattern. Your brain is really good at doing this. Your brain's awesome. But that's why it takes time, because you have to integrate that consciousness, that conscious will into your brain, into your body. So that goes back to the point of powering up and all that stuff. Goku at his base form, it's that his brain and his body integrated with that consciousness, you know what I'm saying? So then he goes up to Super Saiyan 1, and he can, you know, Super Saiyan 3, right? He can only hold it for a certain period of time. And the reason why is because he has to will it in. It takes a lot of energy to be in Super Saiyan 3. It takes a lot of will. You know what I mean? Until he keeps practicing to a point where he doesn't have to will it anymore. His body is already adapted to a point where it's just natural now. You know, they're just natural. So it's the same thing with us, guys. I guarantee you, I don't care if I sound crazy or anything. I don't give a shit. I don't give a flying fuck now at this point. People are gonna learn. If they don't, they don't. But this is real. This is real. Everything that is in existence now, everything that we see, this fan, how do you think this fan got here? You think it just appeared? No, it's because some being willed it into existence. Somebody thought about it. That's where it starts, is in the mind, and then willed it. You know what I mean? And that's what we can do. That's how I was able to do that pull-up, is because I willed my energy into my arm right here, and I try not to concept. It's hard to say. That's why I'm trying to use the power of will, the word will. I willed it to do it. I just willed it. That's it. I didn't think about it. I didn't think power up you. You know, I wasn't thinking that. I was just like full concentration, full focus. There you go. That's the word, full focus, full concentration. That's why meditation is so important. Because when you meditate, you practice that focus, the concentration, because what happens a lot of the times is that's how we go back on route to our programmed habits, because we don't usually, most people in society do not usually practice their will constantly. That's what being present is, and that's why you can develop more will as you become present, because you are developing that muscle. Let's say you're developing the will muscle. But that's why a lot of people are just like maybe not head in the clouds. They might seem like everything's going great, they got the money, they got a good life and stuff, but they're still being kind of led, you know, because they don't realize how much control they have. Actually, they have full total control. And I'm not saying that being led is a bad thing either, but I'm just saying, like, we are beyond that stuff. We can take charge. Even for me, like, this is still a process, so it's just like I'll have this, I'm sure it'll kind of go a little bit, and then like that programming might come back in. But since it's like I've already experienced it, that's why experience is so important, because when you experience it, your mind is accumulating that, like, oh, okay, you know, it's like after a certain point, right? If you're incredibly skeptic, after a certain point, you keep seeing and keep seeing and keep seeing and keep seeing, it'll start to weed in, and you'll be like, I can't deny this anymore. You know, you can't, there's just a point where you can't deny it, unless you are willfully at that point denying it, which people do. And it's easier to do that, to enforce that will in that direction, because you already have a habitual mindset that's incredibly skeptic about that stuff. So it's easy to go with that flow. You know what I mean? Because if your mind, all right, let's say you can't attract a certain type of girl, right? Because you think you're not good enough. That's a belief you have. So it's easier to will yourself into that. Let's say that's a line. It's easier to just will yourself into that belief and just go with the flow and be like, that's just me. No, it's not just you. No. That's a program in your mind. That's not the truth. And I've definitely been experiencing that. I can guarantee you. I've had a long fucking journey with girls, and just my belief, you know, with girls. I did not think I can get certain type of girls and stuff like that, and I keep realizing more and more it's just a fucking belief that I had. The more I get them, the more that belief that I can't goes away. So when you get back off course, that's why it's harder, right? So it's just like you go with the least resistance, but you can go with the resistance. And you can will, and it'll become easier and easier. At first, it's going to be really hard. It'll become easier and easier. And I was just making a video before this that I haven't uploaded about that. Basically, life is a dance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's say you're with a girl and you're talking and the energy's really good. And let's say there's a thought that arises. You know, it might be your thought. It's like, oh, you can't do this or something like that. You can either follow that and then let that energy guide you. And then, well, you know, we'll see, unless her energy about wanting you is so much stronger than the thought that you have, which would, it would all mold anyways, you know what I'm saying? But if she kind of has that thought and you kind of do, and you're meeting, and then you're like, you keep thinking about it, then it'll just draw on her, and then it'll just, nope. But it's like, let's say you're in the middle, right? And you can either think, I got this in the bag, or I don't got this. And let's say she's kind of just like neutral about you, right? She's just kind of neutral. If you choose to go down that path, you don't got it. If you choose to go up this path, you do got it, because she's already neutral with you. So it's like, but at that point, you know, and then it represents out in the physical reality. It represents itself out in the physical reality, but none of this is actually physical. And this is science right here, actually. And physics, they've already proved that nothing is purely physical. This is all friction and shit. the word in terms, but you can look that up yourself. Feel free, actually. Don't take my word for it. You know what I mean? Like, don't even believe. I would like you to believe me. Of course, I would like you to believe me. A lot of people will be like, don't even believe me. Don't listen to me. I would like you to believe me, of course. But at the same time, you need to go through your own experiences to get this. Just keep this stuff in the back of your mind. That's all I'll say, is keep this stuff, this information in the back of your mind as you experience life. And you might start to see, well, shit, this, and then it'll be revealed to you more and more if you keep entertaining it. That's how that works. That truth. So you can, and then you'll be like, oh, he's not as crazy as I thought he was. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that's, even that right there is a belief in me, is that, like, I sound crazy. But I know that people, you know, they listen to this stuff, and some of it's crazy. And it's probably because I have certain family members and shit, and certain people that might be watching my videos that might not particularly agree with this stuff. So that's why I'm like, I have that thought that I could be crazy. You know what I mean? But if that was non-existent, I wouldn't even be saying, like, I'm crazy or anything like that. You know what I mean? Or, you think this of me, or blah, 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 blah. So it's really, so you get this. So experience is really important. Don't just read shit out of a book. You can read, like, that's the thing, when you learn stuff, self-help, right? A lot of stuff is good. Self-help is great if you want to better your life, but you have to go and apply it. You know, that's the basics. They all say it. You have to go and apply it. You have to apply it out into your life. You have to just take that information with you and then go into your life, entertain that information, and it'll grow. And it'll start to grow. That's why it's just like, never lose hope. Never lose hope, guys. Because this could just sound like words that I'm talking, and you're like, oh, I get it. But, like, the more you get it more, the more you can grasp it, the more you walk down this road and start to fully grasp it. You could hear me say the same thing again, but completely different response next time. Like, oh, dead ass. This definitely happened to me. So that's why I say it's like, yeah, I know for me, like, the stuff that I'm saying is true. I know that this stuff is true. But you gotta get to a point where you actually know as well. So that's when it kind of comes down to, like, trust me or don't. But, you know, remember the brain's got to catch up. And this is the thing too, like, my spirit is really strong. I'm like a powerful spirit. I don't think I've lived on this. I think I've lived many lives. I've been traveling around a lot. That's the idea I have. I'm guessing, right? Because it's just like, even like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I knew this, but my brain just wasn't there. But I'd always tell myself, like, once I started learning the information, because it clicked, and then I was just like, nope. Like, I'm like, it'll come. But at the same time, you want it now. You want to be in this state of mind all the time. You know what I mean? But as long as you have that seed, that seed, let's say the opening inside of you, it'll start to grow and grow. As long as you entertain it over time, it'll grow and grow and grow, and you will see that it is true. And you will see more truth of the truth. You won't even, you know, like, you'll know, you'll have far more of an understanding than even what's being said through words right now. And yeah, so I can keep going on and on. I'm gonna try to do another one, like I said too, because will is something that you have to effortlessly put out, right? So it's just like, I still have to put effort into will. So I'm not trying to be like, guys, like, I've unlocked all my superhuman abilities, but that's how you unlock your superhuman abilities. That's how you unlock it. But it's not like, oh, unless you have no blockages at all. Awesome. That's why I think people with ADHD too, that's what they call ADHD. There's just a lot of people, they have a lot of energy. They have a lot more will than most people. That's the thing. They have a lot more will. That's why we can multitask and all that type of stuff. But the thing is that we have so much energy that it makes it harder to focus, because we can focus on so many things. You get it? And that's why we're so fucking powerful, because when we will our energy into just one direction, and I know you motherfuckers with ADHD know this shit, when you will that energy in one direction, on the physical and spiritual plane, you can attract people to you much easier than somebody that doesn't have that much will. They can obtain that much will and energy, but they can, like, to exercise the muscle, but the ones with ADHD, we just are already naturally in this world. These vessels already have that. You know what I mean? And that's why they're scared of us. They are scared of us, guys. And they could be like 10 motherfuckers, dude, like, or 5 motherfuckers. Like, I have no clue who's like running this planet. You know what I mean? Who's really the puppeteers of this show. You know what I mean? But they, I guarantee you, have all of this knowledge when they know this, and they're using them. And that's why they give us pills and all this type of stuff to put us to sleep. They give us even weed to put us to sleep. They're like, hey, let's introduce weed back. I don't know the basics of that, but that's why too. It wasn't so bad when the church kind of had shit on lock. You know what I mean? Because they were trying to stop the weed from coming in. You know what I mean? But there's like, it's not black and white like that. You know what I mean? Weed isn't bad, but weed is just like mushrooms, is here to teach you something. And if you take advantage of the weed, then you can be taken advantage by the weed. You know what I'm saying? And you can get lost and lose your will. I notice with weed, it takes away will. It scatters you. It scatters you, but it's actually a really good drug. I want to call it drug, a plant, to use to actually go deep. It has a bigger purpose, guys. I know people, seasoned vets don't realize it as much anymore, but you know, back in the day, once you started smoking, you were having serious like revelations and epiphanies and stuff. Because the weed is teaching you something. It's used for something deeper than just fucking chilling out and shit like that. You can use it to do that, but that's when it starts abusing you. Speaking from personal experience. So, yeah. Oh, I was saying that they're murdering us. They're trying to kill us and stuff like this. All this makes sense. There's a whole bunch of concepts and stuff like, I was talking about let me clear up the Christian thing. What I was trying to say is that they were fighting back against that. You know what I mean? The weed, because yes, the weed can be a danger. You know what I mean? It's putting us back to sleep. They didn't know that, the Christians, because they're following the doctrines of the Bible and stuff like that, which the Bible also falls from serious truth as well. I know for sure the Bible has been altered with, though, as well, and that's why you have people dogmatically worshiping one fucking man. You know what I mean? That's not what Jesus wanted. I guarantee you Jesus didn't want that. Just like Martin Luther fucking King. Come on, guys. It's been like 50, 60 years and his message is already distorted. You don't think that Jesus' message got distorted in the past 2,000 fucking years? You really don't think Jesus' message? You want to know why you can feel Jesus? You can feel Christ, because Christ is within all of us, and that's what he was trying to teach.